You lie down, the light in your room, soft, fading. Somewhere a clock ticks, but it feels far away. You're not listening. You're floating, in a kind of stillness that has nothing to do with silence. It feels like the world is holding its breath, like something, just outside your reach, is waiting. Have you ever really thought about time? Not the deadlines, not the calendar clutter, not the texts that say, wait, what time zone are you in again? But time itself, that strange, invisible thing we're supposedly inside of, the thing we're always running out of, wasting, chasing, saving. Time is everywhere. But have you noticed? We've never actually seen it. And that's where it gets strange. The sun rises, the sun sets, days pass, you grow older. So it feels like time is moving. But maybe it's not. What if time is just a story? A clever illusion, told so well, even the atoms believe it. Let's start with something simple. Imagine a world without time. Don't panic. There are no deadlines there. In that world, everything just is. Not moving forward, not rewinding, not waiting, not rushing. It simply exists. The past isn't behind you. The future isn't in front. It's all here. Now, kind of like your laundry pile, always present, ever expanding. We say we measure time with clocks, but clocks don't measure time. They measure motion. A pendulum swings, gears click, digital numbers blink and vanish. What we're really measuring is change, the movement of one thing relative to another. That's it. That's the whole trick. Imagine if we measured time with your houseplant. When it starts drooping, that's Monday. When it perks up again, Friday. Einstein, who had a curious knack for ruining simple things like time and space, or said something wild. Time is relative. That means time doesn't pass the same for everyone. Clocks tick slower. On mountaintops, GPS satellites, they have to constantly correct their time because they're moving faster than we are. So if time changes, depending on where you are or how fast you're moving, then what is it, really? Some physicists believe time isn't something we move through at all. They believe all moments exist at once. Imagine a vast landscape, not flat, but full of peaks and valleys. Every moment that has ever existed and will exist is there, right now. You don't move through it. You're already in it. Always. You're not walking forward. You're a fixed dot on the map. It's only your consciousness that's moving, like a flashlight, sweeping across the pages of a book. But the book is already written. Every page, every word, every twist, and every typo. You're not riding a train. You are the tracks. If we're not moving through time, maybe we're moving through something else entirely. Consciousness, awareness, experience. Maybe we're not watching the world unfold. Maybe we're unfolding ourselves. One thought at a time. That would explain why some moments feel stretched thin, like time has slowed to a whisper. And others? They vanish in an instant, like time forgot to show up. Think of a dream. There's no clock in a dream. And yet, things happen. People appear. Entire lifetimes can play out between two snooze alarms. What if waking life is just a different kind of dream? One where we agreed to pretend time is real. We say the past is gone, but your brain is full of it. Memories aren't gone, they're present, right now. Electric ghosts firing between neurons, shifting, blending, sometimes lying, but always now. You don't remember the past. You recreate it. Every time. Like your brain is improvising the same bedtime story, with slightly different words. So if the past lives in your head, and the future only lives in your imagination, then all we ever truly have is the now. Not a sliver, not a second, but a whole, endless now. Breathe. Let this part settle. Time may not be real, but you are. You, lying there, breathing, listening, floating through something softer than time. Let's play with a strange idea. What if time is just our brain's way of making sense of change? The leaf turns yellow, the dog gets older, the bread goes moldy, even though it was only in there for, 2 days? 3? Who knows? Time is a myth, remember? But change, that's real. The universe is always changing. Entropy increases, stars collapse, people forget where they left their keys. We don't feel time, we feel the difference. Between now and before, between who we are and who we were. What if the heartbeat of the universe isn't ticking time, but ticking transformation? There's something called the arrow of time. It's the idea that time moves in one direction, forward, because entropy increases. Things fall apart, not together. But not everything agrees. In physics, many equations don't care which way time goes. Forward, backward, same math. And in quantum mechanics, time might not even exist, the way we think it does. And yet, we remember the past, not the future. That's suspicious, isn't it? What if the arrow of time is just a loop, wearing a disguise? What if the reason we don't remember the future isn't because it hasn't happened, but because our minds aren't tuned to it? Maybe the future is there, waving at us. But we've got our backs turned. We all want to time travel, to fix a mistake, to relive a moment, or just to skip to Friday. But maybe you already are a time traveler. Every time you remember, you're revisiting a moment. Every time you plan, you're painting a future. You're not moving through time with a flux capacitor. You're moving through yourself, through thought, through imagination, through memory. No DeLorean required. Just a quiet night, a curious mind, and maybe a pillow that doesn't fight back. And if you really listen, time travel sounds like a sigh, or maybe like laughter in the next room. Let's say time is real. Even then, there are things it can't touch, like awe, like laughter, like the way your chest softens when you hear a story that feels like home. There's a kind of stillness that happens in those moments, a feeling that the world has paused to listen with you. Call it the present, call it consciousness, call it whatever you want, but it doesn't tick, it doesn't age, it just is. And isn't it wild that we chase forever only to find out that forever was just a good story, well told, in the now? Now you're floating, not through time, not through space, just through this breath, this warmth, this soft, almost not there feeling that maybe, just maybe, everything is unfolding exactly as it should. You are not behind, you are not late, you are here, and that is enough. Let's rest here a while. Let the now hold you like water holds a leaf. No rush, no reason, just this. Close your eyes, if they aren't already. We'll be back, but we never really left, because if time wasn't real, we were always already here. Somewhere, we think. There must be a grand mechanism, a cosmic clock, ticking, overseeing everything, galaxies expanding, stars aging, you aging. But if you ask the universe what time it is, it shrugs. It has no watch. It doesn't even know what a minute is. Or a Monday. Or 3:07 a.m. when you wake up, wondering where all the years went. It just is. Changing, spinning, becoming. No schedule, no rush, no end. Which makes you wonder, is time really something the universe invented? Or something we did? We built time out of lines, out of days and dates, and dots on calendars. But nature doesn't use calendars. Trees don't wake up on January 1st with resolutions. Oceans don't care it's Wednesday. Birds don't update their planners. The rhythm of life isn't kept by our scheduling apps. It's slower, softer, more mysterious. So maybe the joke is on us. We built clocks so we wouldn't be late. But maybe we're late to something deeper, a sense of now that never needed measuring. What if the world is always right on time, and it's only us running? You ever have a memory that refuses to fade? A scent, a sound, a conversation in the dark. Time passed, or so you thought. But that moment still lives inside you, like it was waiting to be remembered again, as if it never ended. Maybe it didn't. Maybe those moments are like rooms in your mind, and when you remember, you're just walking back inside. The chair's still there, the light still golden. Maybe we never really leave our favorite moments. Maybe they echo forever, waiting for us to return. We think of the future as a destination, something ahead, like a city, on the horizon. But what if it's more like a mirror, a reflection of who we're becoming? Not a place we go, but a version of ourselves we grow into. And what if the future isn't far? What if it's already inside you, just not unfolded yet? It's a seed, waiting for the right thought, the right breath, the right moment of stillness. Right now, the future is listening. How long is a moment? Really? Is it a blink? A breath? The pause between heartbeats? Or is it something bigger? An invisible pocket of the universe, where everything happens at once? Sometimes a moment feels endless. Other times it's gone before you even notice. Time stretches and contracts, like it's made of elastic wonder. Maybe moments aren't measured by minutes at all, but by meaning. And the ones that mean the most last forever. Storytelling is the closest thing we have to time travel. Right now, you're here with me. But we've wandered through dreams, through ancient theories, through everything and nothing. Stories let us stretch time, pause it, rewind, even skip entire centuries in a single sentence. And maybe that's why we love stories so much, because deep down, we know time is slippery. But stories, they hold us still, even just for a little while. This story is holding you, and in its arms, there is no hurry. Let's try something. Just be still. Right now, for 10 seconds. No thinking, no reaching, no trying. Just still. What happened? Was that time passing? Or did time vanish for a moment, like a magician's coin slipping quietly into the dark? Stillness is strange. It feels like nothing, but it's full of everything. Awareness, breath, existence, the quiet hum beneath all things. Sometimes the most timeless thing you can do is pause, not because you've stopped, but because for once, you're finally here. Let's pretend, just for a minute, close your eyes and imagine stepping outside of time. You float above your life, not running, not rushing, just rising. And from up here, you can see everything, all at once, every version of you, every moment, every breath, every choice you made and didn't make, the conversations that changed everything, and the ones that seemed like nothing at the time, but maybe meant everything later. You're not clinging to the past. You're not chasing the future. You're just watching, still, software breathing, smiling, at the way it all weaves together, like some cosmic joke with perfect timing. And when you're ready, you step back in, not older, not younger, just more awake. You've just drifted through something vast, not a timeline, not a destination, but a question. If time wasn't real, then what are we moving through? Maybe the answer is simpler than we thought. We're moving through moments, through memory, through meaning, through ourselves, and all of it, every second, every story, every silence is happening now. So stay, float, rest in the now a little longer. Time can wait. You don't have to. Breathe. Let everything else go. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. And somehow, you always were. Let's get strange again. Just for a moment. Imagine a universe with no clocks, no sunrises, no ticking hands, just endless stars, whispering to each other in the dark. And still, even without watches or schedules, galaxies form patterns. Black holes spin, atoms hum and vibrate like tiny singing bowls. The universe has rhythm, not measured in seconds, but in events, in spirals, in tides, in echoing songs made of gravity and fire. It doesn't remember time the way we do. It remembers movement. It remembers light. It remembers heat. And maybe, just maybe, we're trying too hard to measure something that was never meant to be measured. Maybe we weren't built to count it. Maybe we were built to feel it. You drift into a dream. Do you ever check your watch there? Do dreams run late? In dreams, people appear, disappear, and reappear with different faces. Mountains rise, melt. Your childhood pet becomes your math teacher. And somehow, it all feels normal. Why? Because in dreams, time doesn't matter. It dissolves, slips through the cracks, and you accept it. So what if waking life is just a slower dream, a lucid one, with better lighting and slightly more paperwork? We talk about progress, like it's a ladder, higher, better, newer. But what if that's just a trick of time? Ancient humans looked up at the stars with awe. So do we. They wondered why we're here. So do we. They told stories, sang songs, fell in love, made mistakes. So, are we really progressing? Or just orbiting, circling back in new clothes? What if wisdom isn't in forward motion, but in returning to the same place with new eyes? Think about your life, not as a line, but as a constellation. Moments scattered like stars, some bright, some barely flickering, but they form a shape, a picture only you can see. You connect the dots, not time, not fate, you. Maybe that's all a life is, a private galaxy of experiences that make sense only from where you stand. And maybe meaning is something you draw between them. So much of life is waiting. Waiting to grow up, waiting for love, waiting for Friday, waiting for a sign, waiting for the right time. But what if the waiting is the illusion? What if the right time is always just now? Not because now is perfect, but because it's the only place anything ever happens. Maybe life isn't something coming. Maybe it's something arriving. Quietly, breath by breath. If time was a person, what would you say? Would you scold it for moving too fast? For stealing your childhood? Your favorite summer, that one kiss you still think about. Or would you thank it for teaching you how to let go, how to change, how to begin again? Maybe time is both villain and guide, thief and teacher, trickster and friend. So go ahead, write it a letter, even if it never reads it. Sometimes what you need isn't for time to hear you. You just need to hear yourself. You've wandered far, through illusions, through theories, through inner galaxies. And maybe, just maybe, the clock doesn't matter. Not when your heart is still beating. Not when your breath is still here. Not when you are. If time wasn't real, then what are we moving through? You. We're moving through you, and you are timeless. So stay with this breath, and let the next one arrive. Like a gift that doesn't need wrapping. There's more ahead, but not yet. There comes a moment, quiet, small, where you stop chasing. You stop running towards some future self, some perfect day, some clean ending, and instead, you look around, and you realize you're already home. Not because everything is solved, but because you don't need to be anywhere else. Because the you that exists right now, the one breathing and listening and wondering if this whole thing is a dream, is enough. More than enough. And in that realization, time softens. The edges blur. And suddenly, nothing is missing. Not even a second. There are places inside you that time can't reach. A memory so vivid, it feels like now. A feeling that lingers, long after the moment fades. A piece of music that instantly folds the world in half, and pulls you back to something you thought you'd forgotten. These aren't just echoes, they're portals. Time tries to move forward, but some moments refuse. They stand still, like stone in a river. Everything else flows around them. But they remain, unbothered, unbroken, unchanged. Maybe those moments are reminders that time can't own everything, that even in a world obsessed with schedules, there are places where stillness wins. There's a reason you remember certain things forever. A laugh, a scent, the warmth of someone's voice. They stay because they meant something. And meaning, it seems, isn't bound to time. And maybe that's a kind of magic. A message that says, some things are too sacred to age. Like love, like awe, like the soft hush of your breath. Right now, like this moment. You listening. Still. They say time heals all wounds. But if that were true, wouldn't all wounds be gone by now? Time just passes. Quietly. Impartially. It doesn't soothe you in the night. It doesn't sit beside you when the world feels too loud. It doesn't choose forgiveness, or strength, or peace. You do. You heal, by learning how to carry it, by deciding to stay soft when the world has been hard, by finding beauty in the cracked places. Time gives you room to try again, but it's you who does the trying. And healing, it's messy. It doubles back, it hides, and reappears. It can feel like nothing's changing, until suddenly, everything is. You wake up one day and realize the ache is quieter, the anger less sharp, the sadness a little softer around the edges. Not gone, but transformed. That was you. That was always you. There are moments when time stops behaving, when a single glance feels like a whole story, when laughter stretches across minutes like sunlight across water, when sorrow makes the days feel endless and joy makes them fly. Time bends, not just in space, but in emotion. It's not the minutes that define a moment. It's the weight of it, the heat of it, the way it lands in you. And so you learn some days are longer than others, not because of physics, but because of feeling. And in that way, you become the clock. Your heart becomes the metronome. Your breath becomes the measure. So maybe. The moments that matter most are the ones we never saw coming, the ones we didn't try to control, the ones that bent time until it felt like magic. Close your eyes and walk for a moment down the hallway of your unlived lives. There, a version of you who said yes instead of no, who moved instead of staying, who called back, who walked away, who chased the dream or let it go. Do you see them? Not ghosts, not shadows, but echoes. Each version of you is a thread in the larger tapestry. Lives you didn't live, yet still carry somewhere inside. You are not just this you. You are every you you've ever imagined, every choice you almost made, every road you stared at, unsure. And isn't that comforting? To know your story could have taken 1,000 turns, and still, here you are, living the one only you could. We mark things as the end, the last page, the final goodbye, the closing door. But have you ever finished a book and still felt the characters walking with you? Or ended a conversation that echoed in your mind for days? Endings don't always end, they just become quiet. Time tells us things must close, but feeling tells us otherwise, that some things continue inside us long after they've stopped happening. You carry endings like seeds. They don't disappear. They bloom into new questions, new beginnings. So maybe the end is not a stop, but a spiral, a return, a breath, before the next note in the song. Not silence, just the space between beats. And so, here we are, at what looks like the end, feels like the end, sounds like the end. But listen closely. There's still something breathing beneath the silence. You. You're still here, still wondering, still holding the softness of this moment in your chest. You've walked through memories, ideas, theories, versions of yourself you forgot were still alive. You haven't traveled through time tonight. You've traveled through awareness. And now you return. Not older, not wiser, maybe, but gentler. And maybe that's better. So as you lie there, eyes soft, breath slow, remember this. Time was never chasing you. It was always walking beside you, waiting for you to notice, waiting for you to say, I don't need to rush. I don't need to know. I am already where I'm meant to be. This isn't goodbye. It's a pause, a breath, a stillness that says, you're enough. Now then, always, good night.